Alrighty, so tonight I'm going to go take a look at this car on Craigslist. He wants $450 for it. Apparently it just needs a clutch. It's a 94 Mazda Protege, obviously with a stick shift. So we'll see if this could be the new rally car project. He says it runs really good and the price is flexible. So we'll see what I come home with. Well, I wound up getting it. $200 of almost cool car. Alright, so why was it so cheap? It needs a clutch, which is not very fun on front-wheel drive cars, as you guys know. But it shouldn't be too bad. Parts are readily available. And it shouldn't be but more than maybe a full day's worth of work. So a couple things it's going to need. As you can see, it's really low to the ground. It's going to need a little bit of lift, and I'll accomplish that both with strut spacers, which I'll be making, and of course slightly larger tires and wheels, because it's pretty hard to find all-terrain tires that come on a 13-inch wheel. Next up is just a little bit more power. This is the base model 1.8 single overhead cam, putting out from the factory a whopping 105 horsepower. I'd like to see at least 130, 140. Not much to do aesthetically, just the typical rally stripes, the big Mazda speed logos, etc. And I'm going to try to do some kind of junkyard swap to get discs in the rear, along with a drift style hydro e-brake, which I can fab up pretty easy. The interior is really darn nice. Dirty, but really nice. The bucket seats I think are going to be good enough for some entry-level, light rallying. I don't think I'll have to switch to any kind of race buckets. And it does have pretty decent little tack inside there. And someone's already done a full exhaust to it, a 2 1/4 inch, with I think is what a MagnaFlow exhaust, a muffler rather. So it sounds okay. I don't know, for a 4-cylinder. And they always sound like crap. Alright guys, so for this new project, a couple rules I'm going to follow here. Basic tools, or at least ones that are easy to find and borrow, either from a friend or a local shop. Got to retain some use, both on-road and off-road. Hopefully get a little bit better use off-road, because that's what kind of the whole point is. Get some good street cred going. Make it look good, make it stance right, sound good. Everything DIY, or at least much as an average do-it-yourselfer can in a garage with pretty good tools and a pretty good knowledge. Most everything's going to be used parts, or at least from eBay or local sources, dismantling yards, etc. And last and final, that makes all these a little bit more tricky, is a $500 budget. So we'll see if we can stick to that and make ourselves a good little daily driver, weekend warrior, light-duty rally car. So with our $500 budget, should be able to do strut spacers, wheels, tires, and I'm going to try to do a hodgepodge junkyard turbo setup. The manifold, you can actually buy them brand new on eBay for about 80 bucks for a cast iron turbo manifold, and the rest is going to be all homebrew junkyard soup. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be doing some more research to see how many pounds of boost I can do while retaining the same ECU and fuel pump, etc. And from what I've heard, about 5 to 7 pounds is about all you could really do without bumping up the injector size and just throwing a couple degrees of retard into the distributor there. So we'll see how that turns out. Alright guys, well, today is December 31st. Just a little intro on the car. I'll be making room for it at my shop here in about 5 or 6 days and try to have it up there next weekend. Being that it needs a clutch, and it's unknown on when the timing belt was last done, I'm going to go ahead and just pull the engine, do the clutch on one side, do the timing belt on the other side, and while the motor's out of the car, I'm going to go ahead and weld in a bung on the oil pan. I'm going to pull the oil pan off and do a seal there. I'm going to weld a bung on the oil pan just in case this thing does get turbocharged. The oil return can be plumbed in there real easy. There's already an oil feed line on these motors, so that's real nice. Just got to drop the pan and weld in a bung, and that'll at least kind of set my timing up a little bit better so that if it ever does get turboed, bam, it's right there. Easy peasy. Other than that, while the motor's out, it's a good time to do all your preventative maintenance and general tune-up stuff. You know, it's pretty easy to do spark plugs while the motor's in the car, but while it's on a cherry picker, it'd be real easy just to do plugs, front and rear crankshaft seals, timing belt, water pump, possibly an oil pump, and just overall kind of tear down the motor just a little bit and take a good look inside everything and see if this thing can be beat on pretty hard off-road, and see if we can get some more power out of her and make it a little bit faster than Mosey. So, alrighty.